Good evening and welcome back to Prime of Midlife. It's Wednesday evening, we're halfway through the week, and tonight we are talking about government help in the cost of living crisis. Mainly for two reasons. One is that the US government last year instigated what they call the SNAP programme, which was an extension of the food stamps for people to help them through the cost of living crisis when prices went up so fast and so much. And it's made a huge difference to people. Unfortunately, that is seemingly due to end soon. So there's going to be an awful lot of people in the US who have had this extra cushion for the last few months as prices have gone up. And this cushion is going to go. Unfortunately, prices haven't come down, but the income that people have is going to go down. And in some places, it's going to go down quite considerably. Also, here in the UK, we have in March the government's energy help programme is changing. And we have the budget in March, so I wouldn't be counting on anything much with that. And although today they said, inflation's come down to 10.1 from 10.5, doesn't seem that inflation is coming down terribly quickly, and there's quite a few of the money people, money columnists, etc. in the media have said that the interest rates will keep going up because of this, because inflation isn't coming down soon. And it means for so many people that they're going to struggle, and they're going to struggle more in the next, in about a month or so. And one of the things that really irks me, is that there's so many people continue to say if people would just learn to cook, they need to learn to cook cheap, nutritious meals. And once they learn that, if they had known that, they wouldn't be in this position. It doesn't work that way. That's not how it works just now, because the cheap, nutritious meals that people are talking about are like your stews and your soups, and they take a long time to cook. These cheap, nutritious meals were designed in the days when, for the majority of the time, the female stayed at home while the male went out working. And they were going to the shops every day to get their fresh veggies. Many of us now, the sort of decent priced shops that are not too expensive are quite a few miles away, so we only go there maybe once or twice a month. So we get a whole load of veggies and fruit when we first go to the supermarket, but the rest of the week or the rest of the month, we don't particularly buy fresh. So all these soups and stews and, using the cheaper cuts of meat, use lentils, use pulses, all that sort of stuff, that is all based on a long, slow cooking cycle. And with energy prices the way they are, that's not sustainable for many people. So for people to say, you just need to learn to cook cheap, nutritious meals, that's not what it is. Because people can't afford the energy to cook cheap, nutritious meals. I don't particularly know what the answer is. I am hoping that once I get my cupboards up and I get all my food down here that I've got in the house, and I get my kitchen worktops back because they're covered in stuff just now that's to go in the cupboards eventually, that I can get the slow cooker going, I can start experimenting. But I know there'll be a lot of people like me eating leftovers. I had left some sliced sausage for Patrick and his brother today, which they didn't eat, but I had taken it out of the freezer and left it in the frying pan. So that was cooked tonight when I came in, and it was chopped up and it was put in the pasta that was left over from last night, along with an onion that I fried up with the sausage and some cheese. And that was a perfectly respectable meal. It actually tasted quite good. It's not what one would normally put on the plate, it's not what one would normally advertise, but it was what was there, and it was using up what was left. And I think there's going to be a lot of that happening now. That what people are going to have to do is, if you're doing something like, say, cooking rice, you cook enough for 2-3 days so that you can keep it in the fridge and have it a day later or the next day. Pasta, the same. Potatoes, the same. I don't think we're going to be cooking meals for one very often now, because we just can't afford it. So that's my next cunning plan, is to see what I'm going to be cooking that's going to take the least amount of energy for the biggest impact on my meals. So there you go, fingers crossed I managed to get that done. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to show you my cupboards with some stuff in them, but I'm absolutely not to put stuff in them just now because the shelves aren't there and there's still a few screws to go into, double whammy them into the walls or something, I don't know. But Patrick's fixing that tomorrow. So I will go now. I hope you have a good night and I will catch you later.